This here is a story about the jobs that I've had. And, I ended up in the amusement industry. One of the things that happened, when we ran all kinds of machines. I mean, anything that part of that business, pool tables and jukeboxes, and originally we had vending machines, candy and that kind of stuff. We got out of that, and or at least that particular company, ended that sometime in there in the 70s, I think, the vending business. And then one of the things that came along was video poker. Video poker was a big deal. Well, everybody wanted to play video poker. It was before you could play games on your computer at home, or at least games that were, involved. And so I had these games setting in bars all over the place, and people put a lot of money in these things. And they were set. They would pay. I forget. Typically set for pay about 80% back. And but the way that the things worked, that of course nobody ever you couldn't beat the system if you played very much. You could beat the system if you went in and just played once and never played again. You happened to win when you played or something. Not if you kept playing. You kept playing, you got the odds. You put in $10 and you got back $8. That was pretty much the deal. And as in all lottery, you go to the casino. I mean, that's the deal. You put in 10, you get back 9. They keep a buck. That's how they make a living. And so we had these machines out, and had a place way back in the hills. It was in the middle of what was deep Appalachia at one time. I mean, the whole Appalachia business had dissolved and gone away, but the remains were a few bars scattered on little roads, and that was before prohibition by other means, which came later, which ended all those bars that the people went to, and all that whole business was shut down in time. But this is when there were still bars and people still went there and drank. And we in this particular place there was two sisters, who were elderly and both blind, and they came down to this bar. I don't know how often enough, and they came down, and they got in the habit. They liked playing this video poker game. And it turned out that this thing made little tunes and noises, and the buttons were all located in a consistent kind of a way on them, so the buttons always did exactly the same thing. And you could listen to the tones and the tunes and how it played, and you could play this game. You didn't have to see the game to be able to play the game. You could play it perfectly effectively without seeing a thing. So people laughed that they were blind. They're sitting playing poker, but the fact was that was not very difficult. You could play this game without seeing the screen. And so they played away. They loved playing that game. So they sat there and they drank whatever their little drinks were, and they played poker. And when they were done, they went home. Well, in time, they lost money like everybody did on these things. And somebody complained. I had the impression it wasn't them, but I don't know that as a matter of fact. It was somebody else complained about them, that they had lost, considerable money from whatever they lived on, and had called the local, the district attorney for that county, and said, about these blind women who were losing all this money playing poker, which, everybody realized it would look bad in the paper. Two blind sisters lose all their money in a video poker game. So it became my job. At that point, I was tasked to go up there and give these women their money back. And so I did that. I went up and discovered how much money they had lost, and gave them their money back. And now the problem was that next week, they came down and they did it again, because now was even more fun than before, because they got to keep their winnings, but they got paid back their losings. So that went on for some time. They wanted to hear nothing from them, They lost, I'd go up and give them their money back. So that was a good gig they had there. Life in the amusement business.